So let's talk starting a toy collection. So you wake up one day and you realize that it's no longer unnatural for a grown man or a grown woman to collect toys or to buy toys, and everybody's doing it. And you decide that maybe you should get in the game as well. So, with all the toys out there, you see everybody doing this, collecting this and that, you really don't know where to begin. How do you set about starting a toy collection? I hope this video will help those who are sort of on the fence of whether they should get into the toy industry or not. And the toy industry is now becoming a legitimate industry in the marketplace, in the global marketplace. Everybody from pop stars to your neighbor, best friend, your professor, your doctors, businessmen, anybody under the sun is now collecting something. And whether it's shoes or bags or whatever, toys are a legitimate item to be collected. Now, before we talk about recommendation what to do, let's talk about the reasons why people want to collect toys. I can think of about 5 reasons why. The first reason is your friends, or maybe a famous personality, maybe your idol, your favorite actor, or your neighbor, or a family member is doing it. You visit the house, you see a video on YouTube, and you realize, hey, this guy is into toys. And you realize you have the same interest, and you might want to get into the game. A second reason I can think of is you lost all your toys as a kid, and now you want them all back. I don't know, it could have been, God forbid, maybe a fire, or you moved from one place, one city to another, or your mom might have sold it at a garage sale or something like that. But you lost all your toys that you love, and you kind of yearn for them again, and then you want them back. A third reason I can think of is you fell in love with a movie or a show, and you kind of want a souvenir from the movie or from the show. That's happened to me a lot of times, particularly the Disney cartoons, the Disney movies back when I was a kid. After enjoying a Disney film, I kind of wanted a souvenir from it. And back then, the toys were very limited. There were no vinyl toys, or there was just a few toys available in the market. I wanted a souvenir. The fourth reason is you want a hobby or a collection as a form of a stress reliever, like just an outlet to get out of work. If your work is too stressful, or maybe family or the home or whatever, your business is too stressful, and you want to get out of the office and just blow off some steam, and maybe you want to start a toy collection just to alleviate stress. And finally, this is probably the most legitimate reason. I mean, all reasons are legitimate, but this is, I think, the one that's closest to home and which I can personally relate to, is you couldn't afford the toys growing up as a kid, or maybe you didn't get enough good grades to merit a toy like me. And now that you can afford them, you want the pieces of your childhood back. And now that you can afford to buy these toys, it's sort of a frustration when you were a kid, and now you're kind of trying to fill that gap that was left when you were a kid by buying these toys that you couldn't get growing up. And in some cases it's therapeutic, in some cases it can be negative, can be positive, but the whole idea is you want a bit of that childhood that you missed, an opportunity you missed, and you want it back. So maybe you wanted this Barbie mansion that you didn't have when I was a kid. You wanted Castle Grayskull. You wanted an Optimus Prime, something like that. And now that you can afford it, then you go ahead and buy it. Okay, so what do you do? Given all this and knowing all the reasons, and given all that's available in the market, there's so many toys out there, from vinyl, die-cast, metal, collectibles, high-end premium, and low-end mass retail. What do you do? How do you actually start a toy collection? So I have about 6 recommendations. First thing I want to say is don't buy into the hype. I mean, just because somebody is into all the Funko Pops of Star Wars, that you also want to get into that. Or somebody's collecting all the Marvel Legends. Or somebody's buying all the Takara Tomy Transformers G1. You also want to do it. Don't jump on the bandwagon too easily. Just take a step back. Take time to admire what people are doing with their collections and their toys, and just study how people are doing. Don't jump right away on the bandwagon and buy into the hype. Okay, number 2, find out your personal reasons for doing this. Is it a passion? Is something stirred up inside of you that you feel you need to get these toys? Do a lot of introspection before starting out. Like, think about all the reasons I mentioned. What is the bottom line reason why you're doing it? You got to think about it. Is it just because your buddy's doing it and you want to get into it as well so that you have something to bond over with? Or maybe your significant other is into it and you want to have something to share with him. Think it could be one reason or another, but make sure you know the reasons why you're getting into this hobby. The third recommendation is determine which toys or collectibles or premium items or non-premium items you want. Which toy line or sub-toy line you want to focus on. Focus on just one or a few things. Be as specific as you can. Don't buy everything you see or all at once, or, like, oh my God, I got to start a Star Wars collection. I got to buy all the Darth Vaders, Luke Skywalkers. It's out in the market. No. Just be very specific of what you want and find out exactly why you want it. Like, you want Optimus Prime. Why do you want Optimus Prime? Because he looks cool? There has to be some form of emotional connection to a particular toy. Otherwise, you're going to buy it, you get tired of it after a month or so, and sell it off. There has to be some investment into it, whether it's emotional, spiritual, or some form of bonding over it, or something that's very significant in your life that makes you want to hold on to something. So be very specific as you can about selecting which toy line to get. Okay, number 4, establish a budget for it. This is probably one of the most important recommendations I can think of. You need to set aside a specific amount of money per month, or a portion of your income, or some form of monetary value you're going to spend every period or every month or every week or whatever. Don't keep a budget that's open. Like, I can spend $10,000 on this one month and not spend another one, or maybe spend $100 a day, $500 a week. I mean, you have to be specific and make sure it's something you can afford. Make sure it's something from your disposable income. And if you want a thorough discussion on budget, I have another video talking about collecting on a budget. Okay, number 5, find someone to support you in doing this hobby. It could be a significant other, it could be a family member, it could be a buddy, it could be a friend, or maybe a support group. Join some of the Facebook groups or Viber groups or whatever community that's interested in the same toys that you're interested in. And that way you can help each other out. You can seek advice. You can see which one, you can make a better decision. We can see which toys are actually better than the others, and something like that. It helps if you're doing this with someone or with a community. And finally, you gotta keep it 100%. The first time, all the time. I keep saying this to any collector I meet. Keep it 100%, which means if you're not 100% in the toy line, don't even bother with it. If you're not 100% with the figure, don't even get it. Just let it go. Pass on it. Find the toy line, find the figures, find the pieces that you are 100% in love with or sure of or passionate about, and you can never go wrong. And with that, I'd like to thank everybody for joining me in this discussion. Let me know in the comment section below what you think. If you had a similar experience starting a toy collection, any advice you can give for newbie collectors. And as always, hit that notification bell so you never miss out on any of my latest video reviews. If it's your first time on this channel, please subscribe. So that's my discussion on starting a toy collection. Thanks for watching.